Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos were one of America's most cherished couples for decades, so the news of their divorce came as a shock to many. Echoes with a legion of devoted followers. Those who had grown up rooting for Mark's acting career and seeing Kelly on TV were taken aback. It wasn't the divorce that shocked people the most, though. Mark did it immediately following the breakup. What does this mean for him, for Kelly, and for the family they built together? Fans asked in response to the shocking and intimate decision. I want you to stick around till the finish, because the story I'm about to tell is about more than simply glitz and glitter in Hollywood or heartbreak in the entertainment industry. It's a tale of overcoming adversity, creating something new, and making unexpected decisions when everything we've ever known comes crashing down. The world's heart initially dropped when the divorce announcement was made public. Let's start there. Kelly and Mark had been the embodiment of everlasting love in Hollywood for a long time. Even though many famous couples broke up due to the pressures of fame, these two appeared unbreakable. Therefore, supporters didn't treat the announcement as any ordinary news item when it surfaced. Particularly for those of us who have followed their story throughout the 90s, they felt like a part of their own dream for lifelong love had been shattered across American living rooms. Their revelations caused widespread incredulity. However, attention shifted to Mark as the first shock wore off. After this, what would he do next? Would he discreetly withdraw, or would he dare to do something that changed the course of his life? The element of surprise then enters. Mark did not hide away from the world or fade into oblivion. Rather, he made a move that stunned everyone. Leaning toward change instead of dreading it, he opted to embrace vulnerability. A new role, ostentatious purchase, or sensational rebound weren't behind his first move. No, he started by thinking about himself. After taking a public stand, Mark spoke words that touched the hearts of millions. Instead of viewing ends as failures, he saw them as beginnings. He portrayed the split as part of a larger, still unfolding narrative, rather than the end of a fairy tale. Mark's speech was understated and adorned with Hollywood flourishes. Direct, honest, and unfiltered. He mentioned being thankful, appreciation for the time he spent with Kelly. They are grateful for the family they established. I am grateful not only for the lessons I have learned from my pain, but also for the millions of others who have listened, many of whom have been through divorce, illness, or bereavement themselves. His remarks resonated. Standing up, being honest, and refusing to allow resentment to take root are sometimes the bravest things you can do after suffering a heartbreak, he reminded people. The globe was stunned by more than just those remarks, though. His behavior after those remarks. Mark prioritized his family first, rather than trying to escape the limelight or a deluge of other distractions. In private, away from prying eyes, he was able to prioritize his children and spend valuable time with them. In the interest of fans, this served as a gentle reminder that he was a father at heart, before all the fame and tabloid drama. As time goes on, family ties are even more important to many viewers, particularly the more seasoned viewers. I felt both grounded and profoundly inspired by this choice. Even though his marriage ended in divorce, his duty as a caring father continued unabated. However, Mark always managed to throw everyone for a loop by taking another unexpected turn right when they thought they had a handle on his trajectory. Consider this a plot twist. Getting back to his family wasn't Mark's only strategy. He also put a lot of faith in innovation. Speculation regarding Mark's involvement in initiatives outside of his usual field of expertise started circulating in the weeks after the divorce. There was no attempt to outdo Kelly or cling to the past at work here. The point was to make room for him to rediscover who he was as a person. Fans all over the globe learned from that bold move, the bravery to go into the unknown. The universe did not remain mute in the face of tragedy or the loss of something you believed would endure forever. Rather, it beckoned people to live life to the fullest, in ways that were daring and surprising. Many fans expressed their support on social media. My personal narratives of rebirth following the trauma of change, loss, or divorce. In an instant, Mark's initial action became about more than just him. It became a standing emblem for the multitudes of others who, in silence, were enduring similar struggles. It became evidence that there is life after pain. When you muster the guts to start over, that's when it usually starts to take off. However, there was still an unanswered question, even if fans were enthusiastic about this story. The issue at hand was one of pragmatic realism, not resentment or remorse. Who is Kelly, anyway? How did the morning TV queen, who was also part of the unbreakable Hollywood pair, react to her ex-husband's understated but profound effort of self-reinvention. Because everyone was staring at Mark's shocking vulnerability, his ex-wife had little time to absorb the enormous difficulty this new storyline posed. Kelly's tangential route, quietness, and power. Divorce was more than simply the end of a marriage for Kelly Ripa. Her entire public persona was rocked. She had deftly negotiated the blending of her thriving career on live with the endearing, personal elements of her home life with Mark for decades. Their magnetic connection became her trademark, assuring millions of viewers every day that true love could exist. As soon as the news leaked, Kelly's first reaction was very different from Mark's prepared public exposure. While Mark was discussing touching beginnings, Kelly purposefully remained silent. Composed professionalism was on full display with Kelly. She kept on welcoming her morning viewers, numbering in the millions, with her distinctive bubbliness. Instead of discussing the real drama in her life, which was happening before her eyes, she avoided talking about the weather, the news, and celebrity rumors. Keeping quiet wasn't a sign of weakness. It was a tremendous display of courage and a strong return to her authority over her story. She spared the media the dramatic comments and breakdowns they were looking for by keeping her private suffering under wraps. Kelly, the accomplished host, the quick thinker, and the committed working mother, she emphasized, was unaltered by the dissolution of her marriage. This is now the standard on live. Their joint professional lives presented a delicate dance that truly tested their separation. Surprisingly, Mark would still be involved as a producer on multiple of their joint efforts, and, most shockingly, their joint production firm would keep running, even though the original reports said he would step out totally. Not a complete break in business, but a separation of hearts. Kelly and Mark's commitment to putting their financial security and professional legacies ahead of the emotional turmoil of their divorce was first shown by this arrangement. They handled the breakup like a complicated merger between companies. Brutal, yet done with a level head and precision. After the announcement, her morning show took on a new, intriguing vibe that her viewers began to see as a subliminal reality show. Viewers whose faith had been shattered also watched Kelly with rapt attention. The subject wasn't totally disregarded by her. In Kelly's case, it wouldn't work. She was a master of the playful, indirect allusion, though. Every time she would bring up one of their grown children in a narrative, she would pause and cast a knowing look toward the camera. The audience would be left to fill in the terrible blank by themselves when she would say something like, "Well, that was before things changed," while smiling brightly. This strategy was absolutely brilliant. Rather than letting the problem steal the spotlight, it brought attention to it. By keeping her admirers informed, she was able to sustain the emotional connection she had established with her audience. However, it protected her from having to face her suffering in public. Kelly's initial move was more about demonstrating her stability in the midst of seismic change than it was about narrating a fresh tale. Changing directions professionally, Mark decided to put his money into himself. At the same time, Mark's path towards self-improvement persisted, demonstrating that his prior statements on endings as starts were more than mere cliches. Unexpected and substantial changes to one's professional trajectory emerged from the murmurs of upcoming ventures. Mark, a constant on television and in supporting roles, did something daring that was totally out of the ordinary. He put his money into a top-tier Italian soccer club. A multi-million-dollar vanity project is not what this was. Stake that exposed a side of his aspirations as an entrepreneur and global businessman that had previously been hidden. It was the pinnacle of self-expression to make this move. Also, he started a production firm that made documentaries about sports discipline and tenacity, which were themes that rang true with his own life at the time. His work subtly addressed the themes of resilience he was openly embracing, rather than being exploited for gossip. He utilized his platform for introspective self-examination. He firmly established himself as the considerate, pragmatic dad and entrepreneur by purposefully transitioning from performing to producing and business. Despite all the rumors and speculation about their strained relationship, Kelly and Mark's dedication to their children was their most impressive joint move. Michael, the eldest, had got his bachelor's degree not long ago. While Walker was concentrating on his sports goals, Lola was building her own creative career. At a pivotal point in their development as young adults, the divorce could have thrown them off balance. The Consuelos Ripa family, on the other hand, displayed a harmonious display of loving, practical co-parenting. Scheduling holidays or determining child support did not lead to any public feuds. Rather, images of the whole family celebrating special occasions would crop up every so often. Michael's birthday meal, Lola's art gallery opening, and Walken's wrestling battle. These were pivotal moments. Most significantly, they proved to everyone that families just changed with time, not broke up. It was as if Mark and Kelly formed an emotional compact. The union between parents remained even after the wedding ended. The decision subdued the usual media frenzy surrounding celebrity divorce, redirecting the focus from assigning blame to discussing how they are managing the break. When it came to celebrity divorces, their level of maturity was unprecedented.